Yes, this webinar will get started here in 1 minute. Okay, let's see what we have here. Welcome everyone to the first Sunday school in 2021. I hope you all had an amazing holidays, Christmas, whatever you're celebrating. Or maybe you didn't celebrate nothing. I hope you had an awesome start. First of all, an end of the 2020 and now a start of the new year. So if you're new to this webinar, this is the Sunday school we have every Sunday, most every Sunday. And what we do here is we will help you to get some new ideas, some motivation, inspiration, how to build yourself, first of all, but then your business, because your business is built by you. And we go through working with teams and personal development and strategies, a lot of stuff. So every Sunday school is not the same. It differs. But there are principles that will appear and you will notice them because they are the same yesterday, today, and tomorrow. So they will never change. That's why we talk a lot about the laws and the principles. And there's a lot of people out there, they're writing books and doing seminars and they want to train people without actually having any real knowledge about what they're doing. And I know that a lot of you guys on this webinar, you have a lot of knowledge, you have experience, you are great leaders. And there's new people that are upcoming leaders, becoming leaders. But the thing is that it's sometimes maybe, you find something online or, you want to be the first one or you find a book or something. But listen, be careful. Because you should never listen to someone who hasn't done it himself or herself. Empiric knowledge. That means that someone has done it. And when they did it, they already done it, they know how to do it again. Those are the real leaders. So that's why you never should take instructions from someone who can't take you to the next level. That's also mean that if you're going to take advice, that person probably is ahead of you. Doesn't have to be like that, but most of the time. But anyway, welcome to this new 2021, this new year. And let's get the best out of this year immediately, because there's a saying, if you do, remember we had a Sunday school where we were talking about creating momentum, being in the moment, because there's no other way. Right now in this second, right now, you're here at this webinar. And if you create a great now, that means that you're focused and, are you focused in the now, right now, you can create a better now, the next now. So the next minute, the next hour, the next week, the next day, that's a principle. The people who spoil their now, they're not focused, or they don't listen, or they don't really care, or they're not interested, or whatever. They destroy their now, which will create a worse, even worse next now for them. We went through that in that session, but I don't want to go through that right now, but it's a principle. If you do a great now, you have a better chance of doing a better next now. And the now, of course, represent the second, the minute, the hour, the day. The day, the week, the month, the year. So same thing, if you want to create a better next year, you better create a better year right now. That's why we're here. Okay, so just do some basics here, because maybe there's some new people on this webinar, and just go back to some fundamentals. And everyone wants to be successful, because that's just the way it is. We want to have more, we want to be more, we want to be better. So why is it that the people are not becoming successful? Because it's easy not to. It's easy not to do things. It's easy not to read. It's easy not to listen. It's easy not to set goals. It's easy not to focus. So success is really predictable. Why? Because you can look at the person's actions, the way they think, the way they act, and the way they do conduct themselves. So failure is also predictable. Of course, if success is predictable, failure is predictable. Because everything in life functions by laws. Everything in life. So that's the fundamental. That's the fundament of almost everything. And the purpose of you attending these webinars, you don't have to. There's no one that's forcing you, and I'm not doing this for pleasing someone. That's not why we do this. This is part of your education, and that's part of. We want you to be successful. We want you to grow and to get insight and to be a better person. But your purpose of being here is to have some personal development. First of all, 2 words: personal and development. So it means that you got to develop yourself, your person, you are going to develop. Because it ties into the principle of you can't give what you don't have. So if you're going to be a leader and you're going to build an organization, because we work with duplication, You got to have something to give. That's why you need to grow. You need to change. So the purpose of being here is personal development and to create a culture of leaders. Create a culture of leadership. The culture is actually what people think, do, behave, and everything in your team. So they need to understand and follow principles. That's the purpose of being here. So I used this last webinar. Do not be conformed. And why do I use this? Because most people, let's say, I heard some numbers. There could be 5% of the population in a country, or 5 to 3% of a population in a country make more money than the 97% of the population. Why is that? Well, some are crooks, of course, because they lie, steal, and cheat, but that's not the whole truth. The truth is that those 3 to 5%, they discovered something. They discovered, like I did 30 years ago, when someone told me that you can have almost anything in life if you just change the way you think. But the world doesn't want us to be successful in some way. The way it is right now anyway, because I don't know about you, but did you get any classes in school around goal setting? Did anyone teach you in school about motivation? Did anyone teach you in school about your subconscious mind? Did anyone teach you in school about how to be responsible, how to take responsible for your actions? Did anyone teach you in school? And so on. We can go on. We can make that list thousands of points. No, because they want you to have a job and to be a citizen that doesn't create any havoc, problems, or anything. Just go to your job, be a nice citizen, vote for the politicians so they can raise their salaries, and just shut up. But we're not here to be in that category, because we are here to be transformed by the renewing of our mind. Wow. So what do I mean by that? Well, I mean that it's a new year, so we got to get a great start so we can get ahead of everyone else. And this is the truth. People with goals succeed just because they know where they're going. So you got to really know, where are you going in 2021? So this is the session. This is what it's all about today. Where are you going? And listen, the 95% or 97% of the population that make less money than the 3% of the population, they don't know where they're going. Well, they know they have a job. They're going to the job. So they have a goal, actually. They have a goal. Their goal is to go to the job and just stay there until they relieve you and say, you can go home now, and then come back tomorrow. You are an entrepreneur. Maybe you had a job, or you have a job still, but you're building your business. And the business is about being responsible, disciplined, focused, and be responsible of yourself, or be responsible of your personal development. And one big thing of personal development is to realize that whatever you put inside your mind will eventually happen outside. So you got to realize that the renewing of the mind, one part of that is goal setting. There's another sentence that says, where people don't have a vision, they will perish and die. Woo! There's another one. So if you don't have a vision, you don't know where you're going, you will perish. And we're not here to perish. We're here to help people get out of the old mindset. To get a new one. And that's why your desire to change must be greater than your desire to stay the same. And that's a choice. That's a choice people make. Because like I said, most people want to be successful, but their desire to change is not greater. Because they go into sloth. They're lazy. They buy into the world's propaganda. They buy into the world that tells you, no, just go home and rest in the sofa, grab a potato chips and watch some sports and, do nothing with your life. That's a great thing. No, it's not. That's where people actually go astray. They buy into the wrong stuff. And put the wrong stuff inside their mind. So my suggestion is we got to help people bring that desire, because everyone has it inside themselves, but it's in layers of prejudgments, of sloth and laziness and greed, because they want to get something for nothing. There's no such thing. There's no such thing. Write that down. If you're going to write something down in this webinar, write that down. You can't get something for nothing. There are no such thing. So, we talk a lot about changing, and what's the change? Well, the change that we bring on is the change in our mind. And success in life is a result of your choices. Also, failure is a result of your choices. Everyone, no one is excluded. Everyone becomes of the choices they make. So people make choices every day. Now we're back to where I started. You can see that everything I talk about, it's a red thread. It ties together. It comes back through the principles. And I was talking about creating momentum, the seminar that we had weeks ago, about creating the great now. When you make those decisions, when you make those choices in the now, because right now you're making choices if you're interested in this webinar. You make a choice if you want to listen real carefully. You make a choice if you take notes. You make a choice if you go and make a cup of coffee all of a sudden right in the middle of this webinar. So you miss a lot of stuff. Or you make a choice that you even went on this webinar today. So do you see? You are making those choices. Not your upline, not your sponsor, not your dad or mom or whoever. You're supposed to be a free human being on planet Earth. You are making those choices. So everything you have, everything you don't have, is those choices that you made. So we should not be on the left. Fear. We should be on the right. So everything good, everything of honor, everything great is on the right side. Goal setting, focus, discipline, principles, humility, empathy, all those things on the right side. On the left side, fear. And what is the world back to do not be conformed of this world, but renew your mind. So what does the world do? Well, it pushes fear. Be scared of this, be scared of that, or now it's this, whoa, and people go into fear. That's nothing to be afraid of. The only thing you should be afraid of if you make the wrong choices. The propaganda machine is amazing. It just pushes fear, 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 fear. If you don't have to believe me, but you can just go grab a newspaper, go watch some news, and you see. Because a fearful population is easy to control. Because when people are scared, it's easy to control them. It's about control. It's about controlling your mind. You should control your mind. So that's why you should be careful who you listen to. Because 95% of your decisions makes in your subconscious mind. And if you haven't been here before, you haven't heard me talk about the subconscious mind, listen to this. You can go back and you can listen to all the Sunday school webinars, or you can listen to some of the speeches at the events, because I do some of that stuff there too. But this is the thing. You have two minds, your conscious mind and your subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind make the decisions. 95% of your decisions made there. So your conscious mind, you think you make conscious decisions, but you don't. So how do we change that? Well, there's two ways: repetition and emotional involvement. So when you listen to something great like this right now, you repeat stuff. So your subconscious picks it up. I heard that before. Okay. So you repeat. And if you have an emotional involvement, you say, wow, this is great because I can use this for my goal setting. You have an emotional involvement, and it's more easily get programmed into your subconscious mind. Then you make better decisions. You make it better now, so you can have an even better now. You see how this all ties into everything I talk about. So you don't have to understand everything, you just have to do. That's why doers get more done. They get more success, even though they don't know. They don't know everything. They don't have everything. They don't maybe never read the great book, or they never had any advice from a mentor, but they did stuff. Doers get things done. And most of them, some way on the line, they will come across this information because they will be interested. That's part of the game. That's why action is actually the biggest key to success for anyone. You don't have to know everything, but it's good to know, Okay, so let's get down to business now. Dreams. We all have dreams. We all want to be successful. Why do I know that all people want to be successful? How can I say that? Well, people play lotto. They play, they gamble. Why? Because they want to have something. They want to have those prizes. Why do people play in Sweden, for instance, where I'm from? I think it was 98, so it's many years ago. They started something called Bingo Lotto. It was a show that was invented by a guy in Gothenburg, and it came tremendous successful. In 98, I think it was like 70% of the population were watching that show, because they have something called Stay Up Before Christmas Night. And that's the day before Christmas Eve. And this show is all about gambling and gaming and lotto and winning prizes. Okay? That's why people watch it, because they want to win, and they're not in for a pound of coffee or the small. They're in it for the cars, because you can win tremendously great prizes. Like houses and travels and cars and money. That's where you can win. That's why 70% of the population were watching that show. So I know that people want to have it better than they have. But most of them, they don't want to do something in exchange for that material or financial success. That's why they will lose it. Or if they win. So you can win. There's nothing in that. You can win. But if you don't have the knowledge how to keep it or how to do it again, you will lose it. That's the principle. Jim Rohn. If you make $1 million, you better become a millionaire fast, because otherwise you will not keep that million. So the first step for you to keep that million is to write down your dreams. When you write down your dreams, they turn into goals. And I know that you know this. I know it's repetition. People are criticizing what I'm doing here. Yeah, from all kinds of, oh, it's old stuff, and oh, I've heard that before. Listen, a principle doesn't change. Even if it's old stuff, yeah, you should be great that it's old stuff, because it's the old stuff that works. People who say things like that, they don't get it. They never made a real change in their life. So they still think that they can lie, steal, and cheat to get ahead. You can't. Well, you can for a short while. You can maybe on this planet, I don't know, but do you want to lose your soul over it? I don't think so. So, goal setting. I know you know this. I know you heard this before. I know that you know it. Doesn't matter. Maybe there's one person that's new on this webinar today. So let's talk for that person, or those persons, okay? You need short-term goals. That's how it works. Because if you have two long-term goals, your mind can't comprehend. You need short-term goals. That's why you need, your plan to include short-term goals. That could be numbers of people, or sum of money, whatever. But you also need long-term goals. So you have something to work towards, like a yearly goal, or a 3-year goal, or a 10-year goal. And number 3, it needs to be a time frame on those goals. You have to have a time frame for the short-term, the long-term goals. All goal setting, you need a time frame. So you need a date. You need to set a date beside those goals. I will have my new car, date of 2021. I will have that sum of money in my bank account on that date, So you write them down. Listen, some people, they have it in their, they have it in their phone, on their computer. Wrong. You need to use a pen and a paper. That's when your mind wraps around your goal setting. And then when you write them down, you read your goals frequently. You can do it when you go to bed at night, or you can have it in your calendar with you every day, or when you travel. But read your goals out loud. And this is how I do it. You don't have to do this, but this is one of the simplest, best way, and I learned from the best. This actually I learned from Anthony Robbins. I had a private session with him in 1999, I think it was. And this is to simplify, because goal setting, you can do physical goals, you can do, psychological goals, you can do spiritual goals, you can, but when it comes down to the core, make it simple, stupid. Keep it simple, stupid, KISS. So do material, do financial, and do social goals. And 3 columns. So when you write those goals down and you have those short term, because in these 3, material, financial, social, are the short term, the long term, and you write them down and you have a time frame. So you make 3 columns. 1 column called material goals, 1 column called financial goals, and 1 column called social goals. And I can go through real quick. Material, you get it. Cars, luxury watches, or your house, or stuff they want to buy for your kids, for you, or material goals. Material goals. And then financial goals, of course, easy to understand. Sum of money, that you want to invest, or sum of money that you want to have at the end of the year, or your monthly income, or whatever. How much you want to save, invest, stuff like how much you want to give away. Then social goal could be harder. What is social goal? Well, it's who do you want to build a relationship with? Is there a person that you admire, that you want to meet frequently? Or you want to sit down with that person to pick his brain? Maybe you're part of a community, or you're in church. You want to help, you want to do something social. It could be helping out in your community. Or it could be a better father, be a better mother for your kids. It's social. Relationships. Listen, I will give you a bonus session here right now. In the 90s, there was a plane that crashed here in Sweden. And it was pretty, spectacular, because it crashed, but the pilot saved all 200 passengers on that plane. It was called the SAS crash in Gottröra. Anyway, I heard an interview with that captain. And, they talked about the crash and, how lucky they were to be alive. And, and then he got the question. So when you were actually going down with the plane, because they were going down, I'm telling you, they were going down. They were crashing. Both engines, were gone, something like that. So they were going down. Can you imagine? You're a pilot on that plane, and you know that you're going to crash. So he got the question from the journalist. He said, so what went through your mind when you were going down? Was that like people say, the light in the tunnel, the end of it? He said, actually it was, he said. Whole my life just went like a movie in front of me, like, real fast. And he said, but most of the thinking that I did was on my wife and my kids. Even my dog was in those moments, those seconds, whatever. So he wasn't thinking, oh, my Ferrari, my Ferrari. He wasn't thinking, oh, my Rolex, my Rolex. He was thinking about the relationships. The most important thing. Why you here? Why you want to change? Why you build a better life? Why you want to help people? Why you want to become more? It's not about the end. It's not the material stuff. So who wants to gain everything in the world if he sells his soul? There's no point. So I'm not trying to convince you of anything. I'm just telling a story here. So what went through his mind was all those relationships, the closest ones he was thinking about. Now he didn't die. But it was like a death experience moment, he said. Why do I talk about this? Well, because it's important. We have material on the goal setting, yeah, because we need stuff and it's fun. But it's not the end of the game, okay? So relationships, the social, maybe you haven't done any goal setting yet in that category. So maybe it's time, okay? So why do we set goals? Well, back to where we started today. The world is trying to convince you of something. And I try to convince you of something else. The renewing of your mind. So when you put those goals down on a piece of paper, you put something in your mind. When you read those goals, you put something in your mind. When you have those goals on a piece of paper, when you know where you're going somewhere. If you don't know where you're going, where are you going? Nowhere. It's same with your team. So your goal setting is to get you going. But you got to make sure that your team also has goals, of course. But it will duplicate with the people who actually, are ready for it. Because when you set goals, they can feel it on you because you're focused. You know where you're going. You have a mission. So this is how the team goals can look. You got to set some team goals for yourself, of course, before you go to your key people, to your team. You got to know what kind of volume you want to create. You want to know how many new prospects going to come into your organization every day, every week, every month. You got to know how many key people you have. You got to know how many attending the webinars. Are you making sure that people are here on the Sunday school webinar? Because it's you. You are the leader. You are going to make sure that people are attending. And then you're going to have to inspect that they are attending. Listen, this information, people pay thousands and thousands and thousands of euro and dollars to get. You don't believe me? Well, go buy a ticket and attend a seminar. And you see, they will talk about these principles that I talk about, if they're any good. There's so much, not good seminars out there because, Lord, I would say 80% of the people out there writing books and doing seminars haven't done it themselves, but they're good at promoting themselves. That's why they succeed. So, but you know that. Who wants to listen to those guys? Anyway, so attending education, that should be part of the goal setting that you have for your key people and for your organization. And of course, every event. How many people attend? Are they working towards the event? So you got to set your goals. When you set your goals, you know where you are going, then you do it with your key people. You help them. You ask them, did you set any goals, any personal goals? And they go like, yeah, I did. Good, because now we're going to set some team goals. Now we're going to set some key people goals. So when you set an action plan with your key people, it's actually including make sure they have those goals written down. Then you set an action plan. And that action plan is, of course, part of the system. The system is where we do the action. So we write first an action plan, and then we make sure that people write it down so they have goals. How many people are going to attend the first look? How many people are going to be on the webinars? How many people are going to be on the Sunday school? How many people are going to be at the event? And then you sort out when you work the system, you put people in and they come out on that other side, and then you will see where you have your key people. Because out of those people, there will be key people. And I will not go through what a key people is in this seminar, but you can ask your sponsor. A key people is someone that are motivated, they're inspired, they had written goals down, and so on. So the whole purpose of setting an action plan, look at me now, listen now. Number one, you set goals. Number two, you make sure your team has set goals. Number three, you set an action plan, and then you take action. So like after an event, you need to have those goals. You have to have a timeline. So you should know where your organization is going before they know it. I did this myself every time with my key people, with my frontliners. So I set goals for them. I said, this guy, he's going to have this much increase in volume, or he's going to recruit this much new people before he knew it himself. So you know how powerful that is? When you set other people's goals, I mean, you know where they're going. So that's part of being a leader. You got to know where you want them to go. And people will go like, excuses for everything, not attending is a webinar like this, or, not attending first look, or, not taking action. They will go like, well, I was busy, or I was doing this, I was doing that. And excuses. There's no excuses involved in success. Everyone has the same amount of time. You don't get time, you take time. That's a signal for all successful people. They take time. They take time to plan. They take time to write the goals down. They take time to work with their organization. They take time to attend webinars. They take time. They take time for everything. Oops. So, and I already went through this. So when you set your goals down, you help your key people, you inspect. So when you know their goals, you ask them, so what's your plan for this first month of 2021? Then you follow up. So you got to hold them accountable for the goals they told you that they wrote down. And listen, there's nothing that called failure, because even if you set a goal down and you fail, you didn't really fail because you did actually succeed putting the goal down. Maybe you should take a look at your action, or your plan of action, or the action you took, or the follow-ups. So that's where you go. You don't trash someone for setting goal and not succeed, because most people will fail. Before they succeed, they will fail. That's part of the process. But you got to inspect, so you don't spend time with the wrong people. The biggest mistake people do, they spend too much time with the wrong people. Because the only way that people will change, and you including, is self-discipline. And I keep on telling you, discipline is, you don't want to do it, you don't feel like it, you don't have time, you think, but you do it anyway. That's discipline. And discipline is it's something for the higher aim or a goal. Do you get it? So discipline is the only way people go out of the comfort zone. It's the only way people leave the comfort zone. It's the only way going through. Okay, guys, I hope you got something out of this session, because I did. I think it was some really awesome information in this webinar. So now it's just to do it. And, you are going to have the best year ever. Don't buy into the dream busters or the negative people, because we're here to help you. We're here to build your business. We're here to give you those principles that can change your life and other people's life so that you can be happy, joyous, and free. Most of it free in your mind. Guys, I hope you have an awesome rest of the Sunday and just do it. That's the way to become successful. So just be prosperous and go out in the world and change it. Thank you. See you next Sunday, guys.